There we go.
It took me a while to figure out what they were doing. It took me a while to figure out
Definitely do not want it.
All rise for the pledge. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to add one thing to the agenda.
Trying to find a spot here. Not blocking somebody.
Agenda before the Perry story.
Trying to get out of the way.
I'd like to ask Steve Carr away. So he wants to have a few minutes. So with that, I'd like approval of the agenda. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? That's it. Approval of the consent agenda. That includes Beaver's Library Report, October regular meeting report, minutes, Water Board report, Central Fire Chief's report for September, and website report.
I'll make a motion to accept.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We'll open the floor for Steve Carr, our state rep.
Thank you, Mark. Hello, everybody. Obviously, a much bigger turnout than we're used to by township and city meeting standards, and obviously there's a big decision to be made. And I'd like to start out with just a quick prayer and then a quick comments, and then I'll be on my way because I got a meeting at 6:30. So, dear God, please be with all of us tonight. Please give us the words, the thoughts, the perspectives, knowledge, and wisdom. Just help us to have the words come to mind that need to be shared tonight, and just help our community make the best decision as we move forward. We pray this in your name. Amen. All right, so yeah, I do not have long. I have to get to my 6:30 meeting. I do have a monthly meeting the second Monday of every month at Christian Fellowship Center at 6:30. And so that's been one of the bigger battles that I've been in. It's an honor to play a role in that process. And for context, there are, I'd say, 3 big projects I want to discuss. There's the Marshall Blue Oval. That was about 1,300 square acres. You had the Mundy Mega Site, 1,100 square acres. Goshen was another one, which is the one I'm talking about tonight. That was 270 square acres. So this conversation we're having in our community with 1,100 square acres, we are talking a very big project that they are looking at, certainly. There was Public Act 233 and Public Act 235 that did indeed pass in the state of Michigan, as I'm sure most of you are aware. That does create the complexities and the difficulties. You all have done a lot of great research. I've enjoyed hearing from you guys over the last month in terms of some of the information you guys have to share. And you guys will have time during public comment to have your conversation with the elected I unfortunately will not be here for that, of course, as I do have to head out. But I'm looking forward to getting an update from everybody and just appreciate from the community being involved to the local elected officials in terms of having this conversation as we've had in the past and will continue to have tonight as we work through the process. So I'll leave it at that, and thank you, Supervisor Major, for giving me a few minutes to speak. Safe travels home tonight, everybody, with the snow and the beginning of the winter season.
Okay. All right, I think we're all here for this, so we'll open up our standard storage comment or discussion. I'll start with Rick. You have a presentation.
I do. I want to be upfront that this is just me. This is not the board. I just put this together rather quickly. Don't chew my butt out for grammar, things like that. But I wanted to give you my perspective. Well, you can call it the word you want. It's just the right thing to do. You don't want it done on yours. So we've learned a lesson here. It's a valuable lesson. I talked to Doug about it. He agrees with me 100%. So moving forward, anytime we're going to make a change, the landowner is going to be notified, and we're going to talk about it before a decision's made. That's just the right thing to do. So I think we get that out of the way right away, so we all agree on that. So I'm just going to give you a couple, like I said, I got a couple statements here. So 2021, 2022, the state of Michigan wants the legislation for renewable energy. We all know about it. Here's the one thing that I give Doug a lot of credit. Doug is always proactive. He's not reactive. He tries to get ahead of the ball game to make sure all our townships that he works with gets it correctly and gets it correctly quickly. So he takes this township planning commission, he takes us to the township planning, and they start working on a plan. That's a plan, folks. That's all it is. It's a plan. It's an assignment. There's no hidden agendas. It's just a plan that they've been asked to work on. So they're being proactive versus being reactive. It's just a plan. And here to show you how Doug was ahead of things, in March of 2023, Lockport adopts the solar ordinance. They don't pass 233 till 11/23 or the 235 February 2024. So once again, I am always appreciative of Doug and his group trying to be proactive instead of reactive. It's a plan. That's all this was a plan. And so I just want you to remember that. So here's the one thing that I got out of this as well. So they take this plan and they take it to the St. Joseph Planning Commission. Okay, they're the advisory board folks, right? These are the gurus, man. They're supposed to know what they're doing. They voted 8-0 to pass with an amendment. Amendment to encourage us to discuss maybe putting it on oversight. Encouraged. They didn't tell us we had to. They encouraged, but they passed it 8-0. They voted 8-0 to pass Constantine, no amendments. They passed 8-0 in Mottville, no amendments. Now my guess is the reason there's no amendments, there was not many people from those townships there to discuss it. I'm betting my bottom dollar, that's why. But they passed it 8-0. Where was anybody raising the question, maybe this is just not a bad, maybe it's not a bad plan, it's just a bad idea. But nobody brought that up. And the people, I was at your meeting last Monday, you had Steve Carrera, you had Rick Schaefer, and you had Bob Ward. They all voted 8-0. It was all voted 8-0. You didn't invite Sherry, you didn't invite Doug, probably two people that were very important for your information, but you weren't invited. I mean, I don't like sides. We shouldn't have sides, but sides were drawn, and they shouldn't have been. So I want you to remind, they voted 8-0. The advisory board that we all go to now, they voted 8-0. So once again, this is just my perspective. So once again, is it a bad plan or just a bad problem? A bad plan means it's something you need to work on, rework, and continue on. Bad problem means it just needs to be gone. It just needs to be removed. It's just an idea that it came and gone and shouldn't be. And then when it does come back, then we all work together to fight who we have to fight. But that's all this was a bad problem idea, but we got out of hand. And so, Doug has provided a letter to us as a board. He's gonna talk about it after I'm done. He details a lot of things in this 6-page letter. I think you're gonna find it to be very, very good. But the one thing that I want to remind you folks, it was just a plan. Nothing had been done yet. And for all of you to come out here, hell, I thought it was Lockport gift exchange and I forgot something. I mean, this is nice, but it's just a plan. Give us a little credit up here, knowing that what we're doing. It was just a plan. They were given a plan. So I got a comment. I want to clear a couple things. I've heard a lot of talk, anger, and mean things said about Doug and Sherry. For us that live in Lockport, and us especially that live in Tamarack, there's others, but if it's not for those two people, we'd be paying city taxes right now. They have fought for us, time after time after time, and all they do is get rid of you. I don't appreciate it. They work hard. So keep that in mind the next time that we want to do a gathering. Who's really working for us? We don't always have to agree, but we don't have to be mean about it. We don't have to get angry, and we don't have to say bad things. Now, personally, I've been twice now told that I'm taking money under the table for my vote tonight. I can tell you that honestly, that's not true. But people will go out there and say bad things and mean things, and they said it all about this board, and they said about Doug and Sherry. Please, you can't. I understand that we have to let anybody talk and everybody talk, but it's also important to know who's talking. And should you be listening, or should you just be throwing that junk to the side? These people work hard. They really do, and they try to do a good job, which I believe they do. For the name calling that was going on, or the accepting money under the table, is atrocious. That's just wrong. No wonder our government's in a bad shape. So, I want to just get those things out there because I think those are important. So tonight, nothing's been decided yet. Doug's going to talk to us right now, and then after Doug's talking, then we're going to open it up to public comment. So not one thing will get voted on tonight before you have a chance to talk. So let us do our job, hear us out, and then if you have questions, we'll let you speak. But I think you would be pleasantly surprised what's going to go happen tonight. And so, Mark, we'll give it back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment. As always, very insightful.
Can I have my chair and so so like Jackie? Yes, good.
Turn the mic up.
Please, please.
You got the mic over there?
Good evening, Rick. I appreciate your comments. Just a few clarities because there is a lot of rumors going out there. Number one, no, nobody's accepting any money underneath the table for this project. Number two, there is no company that I'm aware of that is even looking at Lockport Township to locate utility solar or utility battery storage in Lockport Township. I know of nobody. Does that mean nobody's looking? The answer is no. Because Public Act 233, the only law I know of, and I'm going to try to make this brief because I don't want to rehash everything. Public Act 233 is the only law that I know of. If the state adopted the traffic control law and Lockport Township wanted to do it, they could do it and they could make the same law or they could make it more restrictive, but they could not make it less restrictive. We had our ordinance in place about a year before the state came through with their PA 233. However, they threw a little trick in the bag to say, if you want to do your own Lockport Township, you can do it, but it has to be equal to ours or less restrictive than ours. If you make it more restrictive, it can be an automatic bypass to the state of Michigan. So could there be a project going on in Lockport Township right now that we don't know about? Absolutely there could be. There could be a utility solar company with private landowners negotiating a deal right now to go straight to Lansing and get an approval without this board's approval, without anybody here having a say about it. Is that happening? I'm not aware of it, but it could happen. I will also tell you that there are no non-disclosure agreements out there. A non-disclosure agreement, if utility developer A comes through and says, hey, we want to do this, but you can't talk about it with anybody, they will make you sign a non-disclosure agreement saying you can't talk about it. There are no non-disclosure agreements regarding any utility solar project in Lockport Township whatsoever. I think I've put on the record before, publicly, I'll say it again, am I a proponent of solar energy? No, I'm not. Am I a proponent of battery storage? No, I'm not. Probably, if we did a poll through the whole state of Michigan, we would probably see 90% or higher people that are against battery storage. I agree with that. The problem is, Public Act 233 confronts us. They can take it all away from us, whether we have rules or not. So if we don't have any rules, the state can control. If we have rules which are more restrictive, which are, they can still go to the state. But there's a gap between 0 and 50, that if there's a utility solar company that comes in between those two, it's automatically coming here. They don't get to go to the state. But guess what? If you don't have an ordinance, then that's called exclusionary zoning. Exclusionary zoning is if there's a public need for something, and you don't provide for it, that's called exclusionary zoning, and you can get in trouble for that. Our governor, right now, our governor wants 2,500 megawatts of just battery storage in the state of Michigan by 2030. 2,500 megawatts in 5 years. You know where we're at right now in the state of Michigan? We're at 120 megawatts. So you don't think there's not going to be a hard push for battery storage in the state of Michigan? Hang on. And where there's battery storage, there's solar. Because they generate the solar, put it in the battery storage to put it back up on the grid. So, I understand, nobody wants battery storage, I get it. But we're gonna get it one way or another. So, therefore, my recommendation to this board is number one, you deny adopting the battery storage ordinance this evening. Don't like it, nobody does. You deny approving that ordinance tonight. Secondly, my recommendation to you is that you direct our planning commission to hold another public hearing to repeal our solar ordinance and our overlay district, because there's a lot of people that don't like our overlay district either. Repeal them both, and then if we do get an application, it'll end up going to the state of Michigan. And that's where the decision will be made. In the meantime, if all of us don't like PA 233 and 235, you're all here tonight to listen to this. You need to stand on board with whatever group is out there trying to get 233 and 235 repealed. Because 235 and 233 and 235 totally trumps us locally, and they can shove it down our throat whether we like it or not. So my recommendation to this board is to deny the battery storage ordinance and to make a motion to direct the planning commission to hold a public hearing to repeal the solar energy ordinance along with the overlay district, which is in front of us.
The one thing I'll add to that Doug didn't say, or he kind of mentioned it, our next election, this ought to be going away anyway. It depends on who's in office at the time. Quite honestly, I don't like saying it, but this is somewhat political. And who's in office also gets to decide what they want. And this could go away.
It could go away sooner.
Yeah.
Because
But if you put somebody else in
we all know that we don't like rumors, but rumor is
I like rumors. I can have one.
most of us don't like rumors. The rumor is next month our president is going to revoke all the federal funding for renewable energy. If he does that, I don't see a solar project or battery storage going forward. I don't see that these projects are viable without federal funding.
Well, whether you like them or don't like them, doesn't matter. You already saw that with electric cars. They took a lot of the rebates away and things like that. You just, so, happened to be promised before we voted, we'd let you guys have open mic, you know, 3 minutes if you need it. But I hopefully, for the most part, you've sensed where this is going tonight. And I think it's going in the right direction. But, you know, as we promised, you have a chance to speak as well.
Yeah, so we're gonna open the floor just for this topic, and then after we do this whole thing, then we'll open the floor again for, if you have anything else to comment. But we want to keep this meeting to somewhat of a decent time frame, so we'll open the floor right now. It'll be 3 minutes tops. If you stand and hold your hand up, I'll point it, go out, and then you'll say your name and address, and then you say whatever you want to say. So, I see you right there first.
Thank you. Ann Reichel, I'm at 57025 Baines Road, so I'm right in Overlay, and I appreciate that it's just a plan. I totally understand what you said, Rick, and I appreciate that. But I think in that planning, there's been some things lost, and that's kind of what I would like to speak about real quickly. First, considering the primary agricultural land, the Two Rivers Fisher Lake, was there, before the planning committee voted on it, was there an environmental impact study done? If there was, I have not heard about that, but I'm curious whether or not an environmental impact study was done prior to the voting, and if not, why would they consider that type of a project without doing that type of a study? Secondly, in the same manner, when you're talking about a plan of that nature, you'd have to have some type of emergency preparedness. And was that discussed prior to it being approved? Because if that wasn't approved ahead of time either, then you have no idea how, you know, the potential fires are gonna be put out, what the evacuation plans are, et cetera. So I feel like those were kind of lost in the mix. We were told that there were, you know, by law you have to give us alternative locations. We were told that those were on the site. I don't think anybody's seen yet what the alternative locations were, so if those are available, I'd like to know that. Since it was only a plan, we can skip about the compensation for homeowners, et cetera. But then I am curious if the board now has a new plan for communicating any types of projects that may be out there that we as homeowners in the area don't know about. And that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So your hand right here.
My name is Kathy Standard. I live at 56601 Franklin Drive, Three Rivers. What I'm going to say here was published by my friend here on Facebook, and I was told of an error that I made, so I will read it correctly. Okay? These are my thoughts regarding BESS facilities. From my observation, the only person or persons who directly benefit are the landowners whose palms have been bruised with huge amounts of money. Local and non-local residents only get the downside. A reduction in land and home values, plus an increase in home insurance and utilities. In the event of a fire or other calamities, we stand to suffer toxic land, water, and air with the possibility of evacuation. A fact I learned in elementary school is that in the state of Michigan, you are never more than 6 miles from a lake, stream, or river. We are also surrounded by the largest bodies of freshwater lakes in the entire planet. My husband used to make lake maps, so I know a lot about the Great Lakes. We are unique. There is no part of this state that exists in isolation. We are a web of surface water and groundwater, each connected to each other. If you contaminate one area, it can potentially contaminate far beyond the initial locality. This is especially true for southwest Michigan. We have sandy soil and a high water table. If through an event you poison the land, you will also poison the groundwater. Many people in this state still rely on home wells for their water. As a child, I lived in Riverview, Michigan, downriver Detroit. My dad worked for Monsanto Chemical. At that time, they freely dumped chemical waste into the Detroit River. My dad took me down to the riverfront as a child, and I was shocked. Dead fish floated belly up on the water, which was covered with a nasty, ugly foam. This was before OSHA. I saw a video the other day of a resident in Kalamazoo running her kitchen faucet. She filled several glasses, one after the other, with yellow, cloudy water. I can only assume it is from fire. I have heard that they have been accused of dumping into the waterways up there. It is this sort of disregard for the unique situation that we have in this state that concerns me. We as residents of this state, county, and township have to be guardians and stewards of this beautiful and unique state for the generations to come. Any critical incident could not only affect us locally, but could reach far and wide. The time to prevent a disaster is not after the fact, but before. We need to have the vision to see a disaster looming and change course. I pray that enough residents of this beautiful state are in agreement with my assessment and unite to prevent these utilities from becoming a possible scourge. Thank you.
All right, Tony.
Good evening, Lockport Trustees, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony Mayer. I live on Birchleaf Court in Lockport Township. I am a homeowner, a builder, and a father who's tired of seeing this township twist the law to serve itself. We're here tonight because the board wants to carve out a battery energy storage zone near Tamarack, Fisher Lake, and the city limits of Three Rivers. Let's be honest, nobody here wants hazardous materials stored next to their homes, and the worst part, we can't trust the people asking us to approve it. Lockport Township doesn't follow its own rules. Michigan law, MCL 15.265 and MCL 15.269 says every meeting must be noticed, every decision recorded, and records posted. MCL 41.72A says our township must publish its proceedings within 21 days. Yet half the meetings aren't posted, the township's calendar is missing meetings, and minutes go missing as well. That's not transparency, that's a cover-up by incompetence or design. And while we're talking about law, MCL 15.342 makes it illegal for a public official to use their position for their personal interest or private revenge. Trustee Donna Grubbs, you are my neighbor, and after years of personal complaints, you still voted on the ordinance written specifically to target me. Doug Coleman admitted that the township authorized public funds to pay Trustee Donna Grubbs legal representation, yet that approval was never made at a public meeting as required under Michigan law, MCL 15.263. Rick Daniels, you chewed me out in a public Zoom meeting for having 2 enclosed trailers in my driveway. You said that it should be illegal. I've seen your dump trailer and your flatbed trailer parked behind your own house. Aren't you part of R&R Trailers, a commercial company that builds and sells trailers right here in Three Rivers? So which is it, Rick? Are trailers okay or only when they're on your property? Then there's the so-called near-death child story that zoning officer Doug Coleman wrote in a letter to the St. Joseph County Road Commission, and also in a report later admitted under oath that it was his. That unverified story was used to push through a brand new police-powered ordinance, 9911A, aimed at one resident, me. No police report, no witnesses, no evidence. That's not protecting the public. That is lying through official paperwork, and under MCL 750505, that is misconduct in office. This township has spent years fighting citizens, wasting taxpayer money, and rewriting ordinance to settle personal grudges. That's not government, that's lawfare against your own community.
You got 5 seconds.
So tonight, here's my message. Stop breaking Michigan law while pretending to enforce it.
That's
Follow
right.
Open Meetings Act. Publish the minutes.
Thanks, Tony.
Recuse yourself.
5% of that one had to do with bulk battery storage, so. Linda?
I'm Linda Baker, 5685 Haynes Road, so we actually live just on the edge of the solar overlay thing. My question is about what is a restrictive ordinance? What is considered considered restrictive? As it now stands, the Lockport Township ordinance, is it more or less restrictive than state guidelines, and where is the threshold for determining more restrictive? Other questions I have, what acreage was considered instead of the 1,100 acres chosen? Is there documentation of this process and discussion at the zoning board and ultimate selection, including reasons for rejecting parcels, the size of the parcels that were discussed, etc.? I'm not impressed by the statement that this is the only property in the township that would be suitable. That is not specific enough for me. Why wouldn't smaller, non-farmable parcels be selected? The zoning board and Doug Coleman should have the answers to these questions, and if not, that means to me that there was not enough thought put into the process and enough backgammon. So if these answers have not been provided to the township board, or even asked or considered by the board, the township board is in no position at this point to pass this ordinance. What is the process of the state of Michigan takes over the application in Lockport Township? Would the state choose locations regardless of the solar overlay or existing zoning? Would the state be free to ignore our ordinance entirely, including setbacks, neighboring land uses for additional separation and other things? It's a state law, it is a law now, okay, so we're stuck with some of this law. I believe, as a former member of the zoning commission for a lot of years, that we need to retain as much control as possible over our own township. And so, the zoning board and the township board can do that. I'm not in favor of just letting it go back to the state without little Lockport Township, we should draw.
Thank you, Linda.
Can I make a comment? I have to leave my house.
Oh, yep.
Janice Todd, 19900 South Fisher Lake Road. This is gonna be in my front yard. My husband has Alzheimer's, and we're in our 80s. We're gonna have to sell and figure out where we're gonna live. Our property isn't gonna be worth nothing. So I have to go because my husband can't stay in the house, so.
Okay,
I don't want this battery plant in my front yard.
thank you for your comment. Go ahead, Eric.
Eric Schaefer, 19524 Crescent Beach Road. I would personally like to thank the board for what I've heard you say, what I've heard Doug say tonight. It has taken a whole bunch of wind out of our sails, okay? I wanted to start this when I stood up with, are we having fun yet? Been doing this kind of thing for almost 30 years, and you guys are doing this right by coming up and recognizing the mistake you're making. Now, having said that, there's a lot of people in this room that can help going forward. So when the planning commission makes that decision to hold the next public hearing, we will make sure, it's our responsibility, I know that, it's our responsibility to know that it's gonna happen, but we'll make sure that we're there to help. And that's really what it's gonna be, okay, to help. I would also like to work towards some kind of easier solution to finding out what is going on.
Facebook
Okay?
page.
Facebook page. Whatever it is, I would like to volunteer to talk to other townships and find out what they're doing to make sure the residents know. I know that you can't send out a notice every time. I know that you're not going to send out a newsletter every time. I know that it's our responsibility to figure it out, but there has to be an easier way for us to figure it out. That's all. So anyway, thank you, appreciate it. Have a great night.
My name's Tom Nelson, I live at 19738 Crescent Beach Road, Fisher Lake. Three things. First of all, I love each and every one of you, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it. Secondly, if anyone ever runs for public office, expect to take some scat and quit whining about it. It's part of the deal. That's why you're elected, so we can get one. Number three, this letter goes to Governor Whitmer and Democrat women in the Michigan Senate. Now, the reason Democrat women is hopefully we can get their attention Greetings and thank you for all the time and work you put in to solve issues for Michigan citizens, especially youth, the disabled, and veterans. Given our cultural propensity to believe what we are told and that knowledge is power, we appear to accept the effective marketing and legislative actions about how Michigan and other states have arrived at this questionable generation of electric power and storage. Along with our social reluctance to resist state tops-down conditioning, we've groomed ourselves to think that renewable solar in Michigan, mind you, stored in lithium batteries should escape serious exam of annual sun available, safety concerns, soil and groundwater contamination, plus end-use disposal for both solar panels and batteries, emergency evacuation, fire containment, and compliance with established local extended plans. The most obvious solution to generate continuous electricity 24/7, 365 is with the 36,000 miles of ever-flowing streams in Michigan, non-contaminating water at a fraction of the cost, with minimal long-term maintenance. Hydroelectric power is not new. Drop in the stream units are simple to produce. We all know artificial intelligence will design and produce stream-side drop-in hydroelectric generators, no problem. Germany already does it. Respect, Tom.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Wes Dabrowski, 19710 South Fisher Lake Road. And I want to respond to Rick. I thought you did a good job there.
Thank you.
The thing that got us here was the location that they picked on this. When we were at that meeting, we didn't get very good answers how and why. And with Doug's comments on it, he did a good job on this. But the 50 megawatts didn't add up. And it all hit us by surprise, which Eric talked about. So what I'd like to say, and I'm not a techie person, is it possible to do these meetings with a Zoom meeting?
Yeah, or like on a Facebook page where people can go back and look at it. Is that, you know what I mean? It would take one phone. You guys could video it like Tony did himself. I mean, we could have a Lockport Facebook page. Then all this, anybody had a question, they could go back and see it.
I see you have this up here, which is good. Hart doesn't have that, you know, so we can read what you're reading. I mean, that's a good addition.
All right, well,
That's
Can I
my
respond to that?
suggestion.
Can I respond to that one? Okay. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna be honest with you, our website sucks. Okay? Let's just be honest. Don't applaud because there's nobody's fault up here. I don't think before I came on board that there was a lot of people that knew about the internet, about websites. So our goal, and well, at least my goal in 2026, was to have a website that will be actually something that you can work with. And then we'll have a public notice section where you can go and say what's going on. Now after that, I can't help you. I can't drive you here and I can't get you here. But it is up to us to let you know what's going on. So I do agree with the thought about at least updating. Let's get the website fixed first before we do the Facebook. I'm not saying that's not a good idea, but let's start one page first.
That was all. It was just an idea.
No, it's not a bad idea. So let's get one before we
No,
get
I
done.
agree. Hey, you're already working on it. That's all I was looking for.
all right. Thank you for your comment. Red Schaefer, he's our county commissioner. So if anybody wants to help about county stuff, it's good.
He gets 30 seconds.
First of all, thank you, members of the Township Board, for hopefully the reconsideration that's going to come along in the next while. And I thank you for your service as well. Mark, I'm kind of reminded a few years ago when you and I sparred together and you became our township supervisor and I lost, and I'm so glad I lost. What you're going through tonight. But again, thanks. I really appreciate what Eric, the 1F Schaefer, had to say tonight. And the 2F Schaefer concurs wholeheartedly. I was going to kind of map out a shell of what I thought maybe next steps could be if this was voted down. Doug, and we didn't confer at all, but I certainly concur with your recommendation, Doug, and thank you for the energies that you put in that. And I would like just to, and I have Bob Horton here, who's our chairman of our planning, St. Joseph County Planning Commission. Just to let you know, we all, maybe not all of us know, but Michigan has 83 counties. And there's 83 planning commissions in the state of Michigan that basically have volunteer people that overlook any kind of an application relative to zoning changes, whether it be city, township, or village. The planning commission statewide, based on state laws, make a recommendation to basically pay for a professional review. In our case, it's the South Central Planning Commission. But there's other regional planning commissions all over Michigan that take a professional look at any of these plans and they bring it back to the planning commission with recommendations. The recommendations then go to the township board for a final vote. So, bottom line is, the St. Joseph County Planning Commission or any other county planning commissions have absolutely no power to say this is good or this is bad, because that's where the regional planning people come in and make recommendations, and then you folks always have the final decision. There is no decisions made by the local St. Joseph County or any other county planning commission. Only a recommendation to pay the bill to have something professionally looked at. Just wanted to make that clarification. So thank you all for your energies. I've got a lot of emails too. Many of you did scientific work on this. It's my mother's fault.
Everybody to know, since you're all here right now, that Rick comes to probably 70% of our meetings. It's not just for these kind of issues, he's here most of the year. There's a few he doesn't make, but he's a very frequent visitor here, and I wanted you all to know that. You, sir?
Yes, so first of all, thank you to everyone for taking the time to listen. There's a lot of people in the room that could ease to begin with. I think that we've talked about a lot of the issues of the water, the environment, things like that. One thing that I wanted to bring up, actually two things, is the area that runs along I-90, 40 miles north, 25 to 30 miles south, is uniquely pure, right? We talk about pure Michigan, sandy soils. It allows us to plant things that grow in the ground, carrots, potatoes, irrigation. It also is the largest provider of seed corn in this country, okay? Because we have unique glacial runoff from years ago. This area, this nation, could be decimated with a large-scale environmental, ecological disaster, whatever it may be. That's cause number one. That is a huge deal. Number two is brought to my attention by Georgina Schaefer. I'm on Resort Road. By the way, there are 82 houses that have to exit on Sequel Road to get to South Fisher Lake Road. In the event that there was a problem, right? And I think someone at the last meeting noted at 4% possibility of a burn. That would be 81 people that could be trapped in there inside a hazmat area. There is no plan for that. So while I heard what you said at the beginning, and I appreciate that, I think that the necessity to fight this upstream is extremely important. To continue the legacy of what's good here, right? We're getting a green energy pushed down our throat that's not green. The state of Michigan should be looking at reclaiming brownfields and unused, dilapidated industrial property if they really want to do something that's positive in that aspect, and not come in here and decimate what really is pure about Michigan. But the food aspect of it for this area cannot be understated. Next year's corn crop, 70% of it, 50% of the soybean seed that will comes within probably 80 miles from here, and a lot of it in this county.
Sir, what was your name?
My name is Ben Wigginton.
Thank you, Ben.
Dennis Hoyt, 19592 Crescent Beach Road. Rick, I want to thank you for what you said. I agree with you totally. And Doug, I appreciate what you did and said too. And I've had to deal with Doug over the years, and I've always thought Doug was proactive also. So my concern is trashing the whole idea. Can we just, I mean, if we can't repeal just the overlay district and redesignate it, resize it, if we can do that, I think that's the course of action we need to take and not throw everything away. The PA 233 is gonna come in and take over anyways, if they wanna do it. My concern is the size of the overlay district. You know,
Fight it.
being proactive, they're trying to be by having this in place, because if not, the state, if we don't have anything in place, the state automatically has control.
They do it regardless.
Yes, if it's over 50 megawatts. Or if they don't like the way the township ordinances are written, it's under 50 megawatts, then they'll try to bypass the township. But I just think it's the overlay district size.
Yes.
No, I mean, otherwise, I would recommend that we follow what Doug proposed.
Okay. Thank you for your comment.
Can I respond to that one?
Yeah.
All right. I get where you're going with that, but I think what's best for all of us as a whole, and that's what we gotta think about as a whole, is to repeal everything and let's start from scratch with a lot more input from everybody.
The thing is, I don't know, there was a filing deadline of when this stuff had to be filed with the state before it automatically went to the state's control, right, Doug?
No.
Oh, there wasn't a filing deadline?
So, I think for the most part, we're all on the same page. We cannot stop the state from coming.
No.
We all know that they're gonna come, but we can unite and have a better plan. And that's what I think, where we're gonna start, we're gonna head back before we start moving forward.
My concern was that if somebody saw this 2 square miles on a zoning map and thought that, oh, this is already appropriate for an overlay district for.
I'll tell you my biggest concern, and Doug mentioned it. What happens if you've got a gentleman that's got 200 acres, 300 acres of his own? He gets enticed by some business to put it in there. Doug just told you, they don't like our thought process, they go right around this and put, that's my scariest thought, is, let's say that somebody buys some property that's not from here. They don't know us, it happens all the time. But my biggest fear is somebody buys enough acreage, and this subsides and just goes, and then it goes to the state. That's my fear, quite honestly, because that could be done. But we gotta start again, and so repealing everything, in my opinion, is just the right thing to do. And then let's get some folks out of the audience, and let's discuss something. Let's find a plan that we can all agree together that if they come knocking, well, we're gonna find a fight on our hands.
I agree.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bob Coburn, 56306 Griffith Road. There is hope. I just heard on TV before I came here tonight that the battery plant for Big Rapids has been turned down, meaning they won their case. And so that state backed down now from it.
What's your name again, sir?
I'm losing my voice. Bob Coburn. C-O-B-U-R-N. C-O-B-U-R-N.
Stand up, Virginia.
I was, no. Okay. So pass out some maps. Share.
It's getting hot in here. Is it just me?
It's hot.
I'm losing my voice tonight. I can't talk. How you doing? I'm working. He's doing pretty good.
And then in addition to that, along with that, share. So all I did right here, and Dennis, I appreciate what you said, and first of all, thank you very much, and I hope you take Dennis and Doug's advice and deny it and repeal it. This is just an arbitrary drawing of what a 2-mile radius would be from the solar overlay site. And you can see everything's in there, right? And then Rick, if you can hold up those. I'm sure a lot of people have already heard about what happened in Moss Landing with 13 acres, 300 megawatts. The place is devastated. The people are wrecked. My friends that live over 30 miles away, I went to high school in this area, you know. My friends that live over 30 miles away could feel the particulate matter, the fly ash. It's hazardous material. We can't have this anywhere near us. It's wrong. And so I would strongly suggest that we all stand together as one group and tell the state, whatever you want to, but no, this is wrong, because this is, so I looked into why. Why are they pushing this so much? Why are they pushing so much clean and green energy? First of all, it's not green. The only thing green about it is what's in people's pocket of the billionaires that are supporting this. The only thing about it is they've cleaned our pockets out to pay for and to use up all the energy that's required to run these data centers, these AI data centers. And it is all about that, because these AI data centers are taking anywhere, you can look at MIT, Business Insider, 12 to 22% of the grid. So they have to have, they're hungry, and then they're sucking up billions of gallons of water, groundwater, 15 seconds. Abilene, Texas.
That pleases me, just so I can tell you that.
But seriously, Abilene, Texas, the AI has decided that the people have to stop using so much water for the data center.
I'm the ship agent, 18464 South Fisher Lake Road. I gotta tell you, I'm really disappointed. I had a long speech for you all. And I don't get the chance to talk in public very often. So I don't want to step on anybody else's opportunity. But if what I'm hearing is you're gonna take Doug's recommendation, I say vote, and let's get out of here.
Hi, I'm Reggie Chapman. I live in Park Township. I come to all these meetings to see what's going to happen to our next. But tonight, I'm glad that Robert Tomlinson is here. I did bring like 10 or 12 penny savers. These are your public notice. Now, if you haven't picked one up yet, Davies Township is getting ready to talk to what, Three Lakes Solar? About my Portuguese property.
You wanna go to another fun meeting, show up to this one. But it's in this back part, illegal, if your house is getting foreclosed, if something's up for sale, if there's special meetings, pick these up. I took all these from the Dollar General, and it was from 31. But Goodwill has a lot of people are putting in these little stands, you know, and I know it doesn't make any sales for Robert, but all of our news is in here. I mean, everybody always used to think it was used car thing because of the front, and I'm so glad they started putting a picture at the top, because everything about Three Rivers and surrounding areas are in here, so. Please take one to go home, and there's also Menards that's in here. The Menards app.
I don't see anybody else, so we can move along. That was great. So, I guess the issue before us is battery storage recommendation. I think we should address that first, and then put a yea or nay on that, and then move on to the.
All right, I'll make a motion to deny the Lockport Township ordinance that's been presented.
So you want a motion to deny?
Deny.
So if we vote yes, that's the deny. We vote yes, that's to deny.
Yes.
Want to make that clear?
No, that's a good, no. I got Georgina eyeballing me all the time.
Transparency, Rick, transparency, man.
We're gonna do the battery first, then we'll do the ordinance.
Deny the recommendation from planning for ordinance for the battery storage.
It says it's got written in there, under one. He's got it.
So don't deny it, but to follow the.
Yeah, if you look at his 6-page report, you look at the last page, we're basically verbatim. Six.
Mark, I'm not saying you have to, but if you want to reword it for clarity, make a motion to approve the battery storage ordinance, and then if you don't want it.
I use a lot of cuss words, I like yours better.
Yeah, I think this determination would be, we make a motion to approve it and then vote no to vote it down. Would that be better?
No. No, I think Doug's got it correctly. So the motion in front of us is, do we want to accept it? We're denying it, and so the motion is to deny the Lockport battery storage ordinance, so the vote would be, as Mark said, yes, we're voting to deny.
Yeah, as long as we understand, I don't think there's an issue.
Okay.
As long as you understand that that's the no.
You can also have a motion without a second.
Yeah, support.
We have a second. So we have a motion and a second, so we all know what we're voting for, right? Be up on the vote? All right. We'll do a roll call vote. Mike?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Donna?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yeah.
I'll vote yes. So motion passes by vote to deny the ordinance for battery storage. The solar up overlay. We have to, if we want to do something different, make a motion to put it back to planning. And our recommendation is to
Repeal it.
repeal.
Hold a public hearing.
Repeal. So let's do a public hearing, the motion. Yeah, number 2. So, not hurry. Township Board direct the Township Planning Commission to hold a public hearing to repeal the Lockport Township Solar Ordinance and Lockport Township solar overlay map, therefore leaving any siting of solar panels or battery storage system up to the state of Michigan until such time that Public Act 233 or Public Act 235 are repealed by the state of Michigan and controls given back to local municipalities. And that's ultimately, I think, would be the best thing for us all. Those two were repealed at the state level. So,
I'll make the motion there too, to accept that. So we send it back to the, Township Planning Commission to hold a meeting, just as you read it. I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
all right. Any other discussion on that? All right, we'll do a roll call. Donna?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Teresa?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
I'll vote yes. Motion passes 5-1. I want to thank everybody for coming to our meeting tonight. I know some of you got uncomfortable standing room, it gets hot, but I still appreciate everybody's comment. I do have one thing to ask, since I got all of you in this room. What roads do you want done next? If you want to have a recommendation, let me or Mike know in the next few days.
Crescent Beach Road's pretty broken.
Crescent Beach, you know, I thought about that road, but there was a fellow out there that didn't like cars going very fast. He didn't even make potholes fast.
Yeah, we talked about Crescent Beach several times, but I think you'd be disappointed in the speed people drive in and out.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Anybody that wants to speak,
No, I couldn't understand, I didn't hear it. I guess they put it
Stand up. Help you stand. Hi, Mom. I wish there would have been a few similar faces. I was there when they passed it. I was the only one along. I know. So unless directly affects them. They don't show up. They don't want to. And I don't blame them. It's crappy out. We need to get together and have coffee or something. Send me a message. I'm tired. Home all the time. And you got goats. And I got a lot of goats. It's nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's the last Wednesday of every month at 7 o'clock. You know where the MSU building is? Sheriff Department. The very next building is 911. Right up there.
Hey, Robin, I'm Leonard. Yeah, well, I know, but if we, you know what, if you like made me forget, And also,
Now we gotta do Fabius is screwed.
We did,
Yeah.
we did it this one, we can do it again.
That's right, we're gonna have to go.
That's right. That's right.
Come to part-time meeting.
It's Wednesday, it's part. Oh, hey, thank you too.
I'm just getting 2 times in a row now. Got it understood. I know. I know. Thank you for all that you do too. Trying to have the rest of their meeting. It's all right. Got this far. I know. What do you think?
We're still. And I want to thank you. You guys tried. Oh, are you? No, I didn't. It's just been a long. You did good. And your songs with the signs and all that, and Vicky, I just love that Vicky girl. That's her name. We'll talk soon.
You guys have a nice night.
Yeah. Well, I am going to go all the way. I plan on contacting. I had all the list of all the sponsors for 233 and 235. I had that almost 2 months ago. I already did. I sent you that stuff. You know, so one of the ways I've always tracked property to see what's going on, to see all the different shell companies, is their taxpayer address. And so that is Rockwell, Kerry Rockwell, because I don't know if you read what I sent you, and I sent it to Jared too, Hoffmaster. I said, Fabius better wake up, because when I took a look at that, that's one effed up mess. And they have no idea what they're up to. Did you see that map I had made, Robin?
Yes, and Newburgh is going wrong.
Oh, well, Newburgh, it's wasteland. It's garbage now.
That's why they targeted that.
Let's start this one.
I'm gonna pray everybody, we're gonna continue our meeting.
I think I should.
I was trying to cut up the middle.
Never had to.
See you in a bit.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll continue our meeting. At this point, we're going to open the floor again to public comments about whatever besides batteries.
Still like Ragtown, still on pizza. Not in the overlay anymore. The, questions that you asked at the meetings, how do we get answers to those questions? So for example, I asked whether the environmental impact study was done before the planning board voted on it. How do we get answers to the questions that we ask at these meetings?
A lot of those answers on specific stuff like items, I'm going to talk to either Doug or Sherry, and they can tell you the answers to that stuff. Anything, that's all done before it comes to the township level.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
yeah.
Hi, Reggie Chapman again. I'm gonna go work for the newspaper now. But anyways, I think there's still a few of them left back there if you guys wanna take a penny saver. Okay. This is the thing that, after going to 7 different townships, everybody does everything different. In this county, there's not a single one that does anything the same. But with public comment like we do, we don't get answers. We just talk to them. We tell them our concerns. They don't have to answer us. But if you want something put on the agenda, like you want some more information about it, that's what you put on the agenda, correct? So you can do that next. But they gotta have some time to work on it. The other thing I noticed though too was when we were here for elections, I was looking at the maps in the background, and I saw all the future new residential builds on South Fisher Lake Road, along with the light industrial on South Fisher Lake Road. And I'm thinking, okay, that's the same place where we were gonna put this overlay, and that map came out 8/4 of this year. So, like, I guess, what would we have done with that space that we already set that up? But I'm wondering too, the other thing too is Fairchild down in Raiders, that burned down, which is on Fairchild Road. How about looking at that spot too?
Yeah, I think that's going to get a new owner.
Oh, you have to answer.
I won't say any names, but we were looking at trying to get that cleaned up, and that's why we know there's going to be a new owner, so.
Oh, actually, it's in bankruptcy right now.
Did you hear, Doug?
Yeah, it's in
Okay, any other comments? Yeah, we got the sheriff here.
Oh, man, I had my chance with all these people here. Thank you for what you guys do. I understand some of what you go through, and I do appreciate all of it, so thank you. We're nearing our year my first term, and so I wanted to come and update everyone on kind of what we're doing at the sheriff's office, some of the things we foresee here in the future, and just some stats that I've taken. And I don't have Lockport's broke down yet, but these are just some of the stats where we're at this year. So our overall crimes, sex crimes, has decreased 17.5%, and our arrest rate on those have increased 50%. So they're working big cases, they're investigating them, and they're making arrests and putting people in jail for sex crimes. Drug incidents have increased 113%, and our arrest rate is 194% increase. So again, they're putting big cases together, and we're putting people in jail for that. Weapons offenses, we've had a 14.1 decrease this year compared to last year. And the arrest rate on that's just astronomical. I don't know, this might be a data entry thing, but it says 3,650% increase. Went from 2 arrests last year to 75 this year, according to our system. 2 arrests in 2024 for weapons offenses, 75 this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
And that all correlates with that drug. A lot of those are pretty intertwined. Drunk driving arrests, we had an increase of 80%, 169% drunk driving arrests. We've had a total of 80% increase of those incidents, so different traffic stops. Traffic, everybody, we were just talking back here about traffic and 131, and there's areas all over the county that we're trying to enforce. So our total stops this year on the roads in this county have increased 45%. And civil infractions have increased 3.9%. The misdemeanor citations and arrests have increased 204%. And verbal warnings, they went up 76%. That could be from something hanging from your mirror, tinted windows, things like that. They tend to get verbal warnings for that kind of stuff. Our fatal accidents, we had a lot in the first 4 months of the year. So that increased 200%. So with all this enforcement, all these arrests, for whatever reason, we had an anomaly this year of 200%. So we had 5 last year, we have 15 this year. But we had 14 in the first 4 months. And some of those are multiples. So it just started out really bad this year. So overall arrests, just arrests in general, 76.5% increase from 259 to 457. So the deputies, and that's 3 deputies down right now. So really it was a very simple formula, expectations and our standards. Those 2 things that we threw out there, and they are working above top for you. And so I appreciate them every day, and they are doing a really good job out there for all the citizens in this county. Real quick, because I know I have 2 minutes. Couple of programs we're starting up, an autism program for public safety. So we know how to identify whether you're police, fire, or EMS, an autistic child, or even an autistic adult that's driving that is functional. There are certain signs that you can mistake them for resisting, or drunk driving, and things like that. So we're creating a program to implement and train public safety in our county. And that started in a campaign. I met a mom that had autistic children, and she asked the question, "Did you train for that?" And I never even thought about it. And then I have 2 staff. One has an autistic child, and one has a blind child, which gives the same symptoms, or I shouldn't say symptoms, but same characteristics of autism. So you can't get more motivated than 2 moms heading up this program. So we're doing that. We're partnering with SWEAT, Southwest Enforcement Team. It's the drug unit team for the state police. Obviously, we have a drug problem in our county. We all know it. It's been here. It's getting worse. So we're going to do something about it. We're also going to partner with the FBI GTF Joint Task Force. We'll have 2 members on that. And so I think what that's going to do is open up a big can of worms in our county. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in our county that we even don't know. I've said we're kind of like the Bermuda Triangle of the drug world. You have South Bend, Kalamazoo, and Battle Creek, and we're in the middle. And then you got M60 and US 12 that run through, and we're halfway between Chicago and Detroit. So that's their bypass from the toll road, and then go through our county. So I really think there's going to be some things opening up as far as our eyes on investigative end, and then doing some really good things with them. CTE, obviously worked at the sheriff's office, hired, and then became a teacher of all things. And we've hired 2 of my former CT students. I stayed out of the process. I rooted for them, but our staff and outside people came in for the interview processes, and they hired 2 of my former students. So we're partnering with the current tech in our county to keep the talent within our county. And I said I wanted to do it, and we're going to do it. Today we honored 11 veterans. We have 11 veterans that work at the sheriff's office. So we honored their service to our country, and it covered all the branches except for the coast area. Just going back to some of the things I talked about when I was standing here last year, mental health is a big thing. I'm starting a mental health committee for law enforcement and public safety. So we're gearing that up now. Now that we have a little more time to do that. Training, we've implemented 2 FTO programs, field training officer programs, one on the correction side, one on the road side. It's a 16-week program for anybody that's hired into the sheriff's office, and they are trained the same way. we redid all the policies. In 2021, they went with a group called Lexipol to do the policies for the whole jail and for law enforcement services side. Nothing had been done until this year. We spent over $131,000 of taxpayer money, and nothing was done with that. We just completed that project last week. So now we have all updated policies. They haven't been updated since 2015, which reduces our liability, obviously, and sets our employees up for success. Training, we have more monthly consistent training, so they have a retainment for the firearms, legal, defensive tactics, and firearms, defensive tactics, legal, and pursuit right. Those are kind of our biggest liabilities out on the road and in the jail, because we're always putting hands on people. And then just connecting with everybody here in our county. And we started a Facebook page, St. Louis County Sheriff's Office Facebook page. Go to it, like it, follow it, and try just. There's a lot of things that have been going on good there. A lot of the deputies have been doing so many good things, and now we want to celebrate that, and we want you to know what they're doing. And a lot of this, I'll put my year-end report on there, so it's available to anybody. Talking about social media and being open and transparent. We are working towards that. We're also working on websites and things like that. So things are going well. Things are going in the right direction. It's been a lot of work, but I enjoy going to work every single day, and I love my staff and I love my people. So thank you.
Thanks, Chad.
Somebody was telling me that you have some type of a mechanism there that you can get if you have somebody that knows with dementia or Alzheimer's.
So we did, yep, we're starting a drone/canine program, and we did a roof sit back in May, and we're still raising money for that. There's been a lot of, the Board of Commissioners have been working with us so well. We just put in our first budget request, and it was more than all the departments combined. There's been a lot of things that have been unattended for quite some time, so we're trying to get up to speed and correct some of those issues. But the drone, we have a new drone. It can map out fatal accidents. It'll work in conjunction with our canine when we do eventually get the canine. We've utilized it a couple times already, and it's worked perfectly. The problem is you gotta have a pilot's license, and it's quite a rigorous program to test. So the director of public safety in Sturgis, he's our current pilot, and he comes out and call out. So we already got a selection group ready to go, and we're gonna train them so we have more people around the county, and hopefully we'll get a couple more drones, and I think Sturgis is getting too.
But you don't have a bracelet or something or.
Not that I'm aware of, no, I haven't heard of that. And the reason I say the drone is because typically, that's our best tool, to get above everything and we can look in that area for someone wandering around. But I don't know. If you have any questions?
Gloria.
Okay, a quick question. At one time you used to put the log each week of the police arrests and everything like that. You don't do that anymore in the newspaper?
It's part of what we talked about with our social media, but most importantly with our website. Sheriff Abbott in Van Buren County, he doesn't do the full log. He'll take some of the bigger things that had happened maybe that week and put that out there. So in the couple sheriff's conferences and network with them, we got a lot of good ideas, and that would be one of the things that we would do. A lot of times it was in the newspaper. When you talk to the people from the newspaper.
You would have it in the newspaper every week.
Yeah.
But they don't see that anymore.
No.
There's another story behind that too, but. Yeah, there was a policy change at the department where they would get rid of the roads that things happened on, and our publisher did not agree with that decision, so that was when we decided to pull them, and eventually we just stopped getting the logs altogether. Because what's the use of knowing what's going on? We don't know where it happened, other than just the township it happened.
And there's a lot of things that were going on that obviously we weren't aware of. And kind of reconnecting with people to be able to do that is important that we just do. There's just been some financial stuff, and, you know, that's one thing we know we wanna do, but there's like this list, and where everything falls, you know, it's doing really well, and, I have no regrets for doing that. Even on the rough days.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to, Doug, you got a minute?
I gave you your log, I think I've spoken up tonight.
I agree.
You did.
So Dale's not here, he got scared.
He got
scared.
Yeah, he did.
So, treasurer's report and bills, Mike?
Okay.
I apologize, I have it on the screen.
Okay, beginning balance of October 31st, 2025. Beginning balance of Southern Michigan Bank General Checking, $197,836.26. Deposits of $4,983.08. Checks and debits, $91,516.94. Interest of $42.96. Subtotal per bank, $111,348.36. Outstanding checks, transfers per checkbook, $7,270.87. Outstanding deposits and transfers, $74,063 even. Adjusted checking balance per checkbook, $108,140.49. Checks drawn, $101,526.70. For a checking balance to date, $76,613.79. Excuse me. Southern Michigan Bank General Savings, $71,877.31. Arbor Credit Union, $100,237.03. Verizon Bank CD, $227,392.15. Kalamazoo County State Bank checking, the ARPA fund, $2.22. Kellogg Community Federal Credit Union CD, $91,549.58. Kellogg Community Federal Credit Union Savings Account, $5.97. Omni Credit Union CD, $209,221.24. Omni Credit Union Money Market Account, $44,311.56. Omni Credit Union Savings Account, $2,672.97. Southern Michigan Bank CD, $214,968.15. Southern Michigan Bank CD, $58,844.49. Southern Michigan Bank Fire Truck Fund CD, $76,418.11. Southern Michigan Bank Escrow Account, $5.11. Three Rivers Banking Center CD, $132,676.47 for a total cash accounts of $1,306,796.15 and $100 petty cash.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the report, file the report, and pay the bills. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right, anything else?
I think that should do it.
Okay. All right, we'll move to committee reports. Anything ZBA done? Elections, Teresa?
Yep, we had our election on November 4th. There was approximately 480 ballots returned, and 120 people voted in person. And it went very well. Thank you to my team.
Not of a library, Mike?
Nope, nothing.
Okay, nothing for the fire board?
Oh, you want me to go over that? This,
I don't think it was.
it wasn't a consent, there wasn't a meeting, but, you want the director's report?
Yeah. Yep, go ahead.
Lockport Township, material circulation for Lockport Township is 467 items. Also the patron attendance at the Nottawa Township Library for Lockport residents was 244. Other than that, that's about it.
All right. Anything planning, Mike?
Well, pretty much
I went through that already.
yeah, I think we've covered everything in the planning.
Okay. Through this library, Shar left a calendar up here for November.
Anybody wants one?
You want copies? She has a few. We can copy more. All right, thank you. Anything else, Shar?
No problem. I think it's going pretty good down there. I listed a couple things on the report. Now there's other than some fun things, there's still doing the book clubs and such tonight. I do put it online. Website. And so they have a lot of different activities coming up. Just go down there and hang out. They have some of the things, some of the toys and things that they play with too. They are having their sale, the book sale, they're coming on. This is about town, 10 to November. And she was downstairs in the basement. They just about give things away, so books and CDs and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of things. A lot of things going cool for adults, but they have adult sewing club now. December 5th and December, November 11th. And then they have adult relaxing color. So we're trying to get people to start sewing that's about it. The calendar of events that we don't come to qualify with.
Thank you, Shar. All right. Website is on consent. I don't think we have anything building to.
Low water.
Oh, yeah, water was on consent also.
Mark, may I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
About water, I just want to say thank you for BSNA. Survived. We are transferred over. I am billing from it, and we are also online business. So thank you for that.
Does it work in school then? You got all that in yet?
I'm learning, thank you. I do. I think it's nicer. It's a learning curve.
One thing, there's a lot of people that use it around here, so there's a lot of help available. That's good. So,
Yes, that is true.
yeah, there'll be a learning curve, but there is with everything. I think in the long run.
Long run, yes. Long run, it'll be huge.
I just want to touch on a couple things on the water department, what we're doing, just so everybody knows. So the water tower needs some things done to it per Eagle. Apparently when Eagle built it, it was fine, but 20 years later now, it's not fine. So that's gonna amount to like, I think we approved $26,000+ last month. And to do that, to take the water tower out of service, it's gonna be at least 6 days, at least. By the time you do the work and then sterilize it and get all your tests back twice, it's gonna be at least 6 days. So, we have 2 wells. When you take a water tower out of service, what you do is you go around your system and you pretty much have these bleed off valves on the fire hydrants that you run your pump 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or 6 days, whatever it takes. And you try to keep a constant pressure in the pipes. So that's why the bleed off valves, if you go over pressure, they'll bleed off. The wells we have, their controls are just the standard on and off. So what the board approved last week is to get what they call a freak control starter. And what that does is it actually has a tube to it that goes to the water system that monitors the pressure in the pipes. And if it starts to drop, it speeds the pump up. If it starts to go high, it slows the pump down. So what you're basically doing is not throwing water on the ground. This is going to be like $12,000 for one well. But how much water do you throw on the ground before you start paying for this? We're talking a few gallons compared to like 50,000 gallons a day. So that helps. It uses less energy. It's easier on the motor because when you start it, you can just slowly start your motor, build pressure. And when you shut off, you can slowly shut it back off. So in the long run, even without taking the water tower out of service, they pay for themselves. We're gonna put it on well 3, because well 2, if we ever get a well 4, well 2 we're gonna have to take out of service and have it redone, because it's not pumping, I don't know, it's like 60% of what it was when it was new. So that'll have to be redone, and at that time we'll probably put a freak drive on there. But that's the plan, and that's what the water department's up to right now. Dell, you might be interested. We're wanting to put a new well behind the church. Dell's church has sold us the property to do that. We're trying to get a permit through the state. The state tells you they want you to get a well, and then they fight you every inch of the way to put one in. And this is Eagle. So there's different departments of Eagle. There's your local department that says, yes, you need a new well. You don't have enough capacity. And then you have to go to Lansing to get permits. Well, like I say, they fight you every inch of the way. It's a fight.
Who's the point person on that up there?
In Lansing? Yeah, I don't know who the permit guy is right offhand. But we can find that out. Yeah. So, that's just the way it is in the state of Michigan. So, we'll move on to roads.
Well, I got a silly question for you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if you're gonna, gonna be down for 6 days, does that affect us at all as far as water?
Shouldn't, because all the pipes in the ground will be charged, pressure charged.
Yeah.
The only thing we lose is that 300 gallons of insurance.
Reserve.
And reserve, in case there's a fire. Okay. If there's a fire, they're just gonna have to get it out of the river, or they have to go to the city, pull out hydrants. Because even with the 2 pumps running, there's just no way we can keep up.
So without something like that, we should be fine.
That's the only way we can do it. And it, like, you take water towers out of service every so often. If there's an inspection, like the last inspection, we used an ROV. We didn't have to take it out of service because it's a submersible submarine. And they inspected the water tower that way. If you have to have a visual inspection, then you have to drain your tank. Then you have to take the tower out of service. So we do that every 5 years. So.
Do you have a particular time frame you're thinking about?
The water tower won't be till spring, probably April, May. What they're having to do is go up and put a lot of new railings on top. And there's what they call a wet hatch that they have to replace because they can't replace the steel on it because obsolete. So they have to replace the whole hatch. And then the third thing we're doing is there's a drain too, it's like a big 10-inch aluminum pipe that comes all the way from the top of overflow. And it's too close to the ground where it discharges, so we have to alter that. That's not a big deal. What we have to close the tower for is when they put the railings up and the hatch, they have to get inside, and then that means they have to sterilize the whole thing, so. That's the issue. All right. Roads, Mike and I are invited to the road commission this month. That's why I said roads. I'm thinking Schweitzer Road, perhaps some covered bridge as far as we can. I know that down here on Jacobs Road, they wanted, the people that live around there, it's a dirt road. They want to pave off of South River Road a ways. I don't know how far, 100 feet, 200 feet, to get rid of all the chatter and the dust at the intersection. So I think that's a good idea too. We'll see what the road commission's thinking. I don't think we have a lot of bad roads.
Oh, we got it here.
I'm sorry, I don't want to step in on this, but have you had a chance to talk to John Lindsay and then pass along the information to the board about the changes that came in with the state road tax?
I have, but I didn't know if you wanted me to let that out, so I haven't.
Absolutely. Okay. I mean,
So, maybe you can explain better. There's another state law?
No, okay, so what happened with the state legislature when they passed the budget recently, they made a decision to take all of the tax that you pay at the pump per gallon. A lot of that used to go to schools, okay? Now, every cent that you're paying in tax for gasoline at the pump is now going to go back to roads, okay? Which is a big change for every county. For St. Joe County, that means we don't know this final number. We also don't know exactly how the state's going to direct us to spend the money. But we're expecting to see an additional $3 million a year come into the road commission coffers for repairs to roads. Now, we don't know if that means local only. We don't know if that means primary. We're not sure about that yet, okay? But one of the impacts to all the townships was that the townships used to get revenue from this tax, okay? And so you're gonna lose that. So the township is gonna lose, and John, when you go in, what John will tell you how much Lockport Township stands to lose, okay? However, the county commission just passed their budget, giving the road commission $200,000 a year to go towards roads. And John Lindsay and the road commission have made the determination to make all of the townships whole with that money. So the money that you were going to lose because of the change to the state tax, you're going to get back from the road commission to help you with your 50% match on local roads. Okay? And I don't know, John showed us the list of all 16 townships and what they typically get from that. And it depends on the township, but it ranges from 5,000, probably Flowerfield or Leonidas or something, to 12 or 16,000 for some townships that have a higher SEV. So it's in that range somewhere.
He told me 18,000.
18,000 for Lockport. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
I didn't know if he wanted that to get out, or if it was just between Lockport and the road.
I think first of all, I think it's important that all the townships are aware that the county commission is dedicating $200,000 of their budget to go to roads, and the road commission is then taking that money and making sure that the townships don't lose any money by the fact that the state tax changed. I think that's an important message to get out. Now, having said that, I don't know if Robert knew that or not.
He does now.
He does now. He does now.
Robert, John,
I heard about that over recent meetings.
we didn't spill any beans then.
Well,
I just didn't know.
my sentence is up at the end of the year anyway, Mark, so.
Yeah. That's only what, a month?
It's only a month.
Okay, so that, somebody said Crescent Beach, I don't know. I've talked to people out there and they just don't want nothing done, they don't even want it patched.
You guys came through and did, or you guys, the road commission came through and did a chip seal 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, but I told John this last time we were in there, it's getting harder to find roads to fix. Not that there's not roads out there, it's just getting harder to find.
And that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
You and Mike have done a great job.
This township's put a lot of money into fixing up roads, and the road commission's matched.
Well, look, there are probably other townships that would appreciate your donation.
Yeah.
We did help Park.
I think we have one resident on Sequel Road.
That's right. That's right, you did.
But Ed he had little puppy dog eyes. What was we gonna do? So, okay. We'll move off the roads. Water, sewer, there's nothing going on there. Lockport Favorite Park,
When's the next meeting?
I don't know, maybe you should check on it.
I like how you said that, maybe I should.
Now, I want to preface this by saying, the city of Three Rivers is going to have a new mayor, I believe next week.
Are we?
Thursday.
Next Thursday.
This
Thursday. We're gonna have a new mayor this Thursday.
What a shame.
I would like to meet her. And I can't think of any better place to do it than at that committee.
Ooh. Yeah.
So,
you want to contact her as well?
yeah, I'll see if Ed and
Okay.
if they agree, but I'm sure that they would agree. I don't know her.
Did she come here?
I believe that Shar wants to invite her to next one.
I've been communicating with her, I'm very impressed, because she wants to work with bringing the townships, the city, everybody together, on none of this division stuff, and she's gonna be very transparent. And, if you can get her to put it back on, we can watch it online. That room is so small, you can't get too many people in there when you go for me, but, I would like to invite her to come out, to just introduce herself at the next meeting.
So, okay, yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah,
I'm really impressed.
I'm excited. Not much gets me excited, but this is exciting.
I'm excited.
This is exciting, so. And I just have to say it was a butt beater. You guys butt beater. So.
You know, like, the percentage, if you go by percentages, you're right, you got about, they had, what, 1,100 is what ended up being about the vote? Was there a total of 1,100? There's like 1,100. And what is the city for tax, 7,000? That's pretty embarrassing.
Well, they got more than that, more than 7,000.
No, because I think they got about 7, maybe 8, but, you know, they also include the surrounding areas when they do a lot of the census, but let's say 7,000 people, you only get 1,100 to vote. That is, and then this is for the person that's supposed to run the community. I just thought it was 4. Look what Teresa had, she had, between absenteeism and walk-in, she had 500.
And that was for just.
And that was just for some.
Yeah, that was just a 911.
Yeah.
That was a 911 issue, so. Well, yeah, I don't know the population of the state.
You know that, Robert?
Not off the top of my head.
But that doesn't.
But I will say the turnout in terms of number of votes was higher than in 2023.
Really?
Yes.
That's
7,958.
Thank you, Georgina. I thought I was close to 7,000.
I'm surprised by that. 2024.
You were surprised I was quick, or you just surprised?
Still turn out for elections everywhere.
What is that, like 12%?
Yeah.
All right, with the fire committee,
I saw the email that Doug sent.
Doug?
When you wanna get together, just name a date.
Well, so Doug I told him, asked him to get a hold of Central, get some numbers. He tried to do it the polite way 4 or 5 times. They never did it, so then he had to FOIA them. And I think you have to re-FOIA the fire numbers because you only got 1 year, not 10, right? So.
That was on me, but, yeah.
When we get that back, we'll look at those.
Okay.
And then we'll go from
Make
there.
it fine. Okay.
All right, anything new business? Anything old business? Okay, I guess we're up to you.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes.